So thanks again, and thanks for a great introduction, Ramas. It was always a pleasure talking to you, and your passion, the way the journey of Tab last 1 year you spoke about is just phenomenal. And I can only just state that as part of the corporate world, we also work with a lot of owner-based businesses, a lot of our partners, channel partners, system integrators, value-added resellers, distributors. They are all owner-based businesses, and the way they have managed pandemic, and I'm sure a lot of you in the last 1 year is just phenomenal because the spirit of entrepreneurship really comes alive in these tough times. And Ramas, as you rightly mentioned, right, all of us are in the same storm, but how each one of us looks at differently by being in different boats is a great example of how an entrepreneur spirit is all about. Um, I'm very passionate about the subject of owner-based business. They're very near and dear to me. As Ram has introduced me, as my name suggests, right, I belong to a community where most of my relatives are in businesses, and most of them are entrepreneurs or business owners. And I have grown up in these surroundings from my childhood, where the in business families the discussions are always about business, apart from politics, which all of us love. But as a child, when I grew up, this was always the surrounding I was always around, and most of the discussions were around what has worked in a specific business or a situation, what did not work, what did some of our relatives do in that situation, and what did some of them didn't do, what issues they were facing. And in that journey I've witnessed businesses flourish, some businesses die, some get reinvented, and some get thrived. And this has actually shaped me who I am today. And to what Ramas said, that when I did my education, I thought this is a great opportunity for me to use some of this business knowledge and join the corporate world and have an ambition to really run a business for a large multinational corporation. And I'm thankful that HP gave that opportunity to me to really do that. And today I'm very, very privileged and proud that I am able to do that in a multinational corporation. Apart from my social experience, I also had a privilege to work with large Indian corporates, as Ramas introduced me with, like Wipro or the MNC like HP, where I am there for last more than 15 years plus, who shaped what I am today, apart from my early days, which I just discussed. And I feel extremely lucky that I have both these sides in me, which gives me tremendous confidence when I really look at how I approach the situations. And to me, as all of you know, HP embodies the spirit of owner-based business. It's actually as all of you might know, that HP was the first original startup started by two friends, Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard. And they shared a vision back in 1939, reinventing or inventing a better future for everyone using technology. And that was their vision of how can they really create better future for everyone using technology. And their garage was the birthplace of Silicon Valley. And as I look back, I imagine the contributions to the society and the community what these two gentlemen have made by creating Silicon Valley, which actually runs the tech ecosystem of the world today, or the globe today, as I would say. And I'm sure wherever they are, they must be very pleased to see what they did 81 years back and what has transpired today for a lot of communities and a lot of us who are privileged to be part of that journey in direct or indirect form. So today I will take an opportunity to share some of the learnings across both sides of my life. I hope this will be helpful. I'm sure some of this will be, as an entrepreneurs, I genuinely believe that probably you have seen all situations in your life and you know probably everything. But it's always important to really put together into perspective and then probably share my thoughts, which could be very, very helpful to you, is what I hope throughout this session today. Okay, so what I'm going to really focus on is that how do you really reinvent the business, or keep creating business which can thrive and build the future. And to start with, let me start with the biggest questions which owner managed businesses have asked me, or I have been surrounded with questions and the kind of discussions which always have been time and again and again, and not in the specific period now, but any time over the last 30 years I've seen, this questions remains constant. The timeline changes, but the questions are the same. And some of these questions, which you will probably, I'm sure, relate to are, I developed the business from scratch as an owner of this business. No one is nurturing to the next level, the way I see it, but unfortunately, it is not moving there. My business is doing extremely well, but not growing good enough, and it is becoming stagnant. And I'm not able to understand how to really make that breakthrough. I have a constant worry of some external parameter, like the pandemic situation, which all of us faced, which was like an unprecedented one. But any such external event will just disrupt my business and completely destroy it. The other big question in our industry I found, which is getting asked by a lot of owner-based businesses, is that my next generation does not want to do business I am in. He or she wants to do a completely different thing. And I have spent so much of energy to develop this from here to this level, and now they don't want to be part of it. What do I do? I don't have enough trustworthy people whom I can run my business on. And I just can't, I'm not able to do that level of delegation because I find that becomes the biggest issue for me. I'm the only salesperson and the marketing person. I'm not able to find the right level of sales teams or people who can really run for me. And if I find one, they want to start their own business because they feel extremely confident that they can replicate what I did. And why should I teach them my tricks of the trade? These are no simple answers to any of these questions. And I'm sure, as I said, you would have faced this and you would have answered it in whichever way you would have in your businesses. But these are real issues, and real issues which a lot of businesses are not able to overcome. And even after doing their best, there are issues which remain unaddressed. So let me share my perspective and framework, which I firmly believe in terms of how to really make business thrive. And I'll now share a few slides. I want to start with this picture in focus. And I'm sure a lot of you would have seen Formula One, car racing, even if you're not a big fan of this game, but definitely you know the concept of pit. And this is how all businesses operate, irrespective of small, large, or whatever. This picture clearly signifies that everybody is focused to get that one person on that driver's seat, win and be successful. May it be world-class sports. That single hero will always get projected by media or whatever, but then end of the day, the contribution of people around is something only that person will know. That without those people, that person is nobody. I think it's very important to internalize this, even if you are an owner of any company. While you are the boss of your own company, end of the day, you are nothing without the people who are supporting you. So without this passionate, trusted, and committed employees or team members, no one can really succeed. You will find many instances, actually Ramas touched upon his introduction about these things, where two businesses have similar opportunity, similar resources, similar situation, or they are operating in similar geography at the same timelines, but one will just thrive, another will just survive. With similar situations available to both companies, there is definitely a difference, right? Why there is a difference of one versus others? And I think that is the question which we need to answer. And of course, what I can share is my experiences and my thoughts. End of the day, there are so many management books and other things you can really refer to, but net reality is that there can be a lot of preaching, but you need to internalize few things which you genuinely believe in and really get committed to implement in order to really make this journey happen. So how do we really move from surviving to thriving? How do we really break the clutter? How do we move from a very localized company to a nationalized company to a global company? How do we build businesses which can not only excite your generation or one generation, but generations after generations in your family who want to be part of this entire ecosystem? How do we move from a company which says only one man runs this company, I am the boss, to everyone who feels this is our company? how do we move from I report to none behavior? Actually, it's like I'm the boss, I am not accountable to anyone. And that's the beauty of corporate world, that even at whatever level you are supposed to really there is always somebody on top of you, right, who will really check in terms of what things. And in entrepreneur, and that's the fun part of entrepreneurship, but that's also a pitfall, which I really love the concept of tab, that we need to really figure out, how do I move from I report to none behavior to a philosophy that I actually am accountable to everyone, and everyone has a lot of people involved in it. So, in order to drive this change, there is a process we need to go through, and I'm sure some of you are going through this process. And I just want to touch upon the concept of this process. Clearly, the bold ambition is must. Whatever size of the company you are running, the example which a reason I gave is not because just I'm working for HP, is that two people who started a garage in a Silicon Valley had a bold ambition. They started small, but the ambition was always big. And it is very natural to entrepreneurs, right? That's the reason why you are entrepreneur, that you always had a bold ambition, and that's why you chose to be part of the entrepreneur journey. Um, and hence, once you've done the first part of your startup, where you know which business you are in, I want to be in a pharmaceutical business, or I want to be in FMCG business, or I want to be in the tech space. Once you have decided, narrowed down, and cleared thinking about where you want to play, most of us actually make a mistake of not shifting to the next gear. Because when your business starts running, you feel happy, and you feel this is the only way things have happened because you've been successful. So nothing wrong in that belief. But that belief of being successful in a certain way becomes a problem more often than ever. So a bold ambition has to be backed by a much broader and a bigger purpose. Apart from running profits, profits is very, very important for any business. Don't mistake me. But profit is not the only reason why you actually exist to do business. And I think as long as you are able to build that purpose, then the magic will happen. Because everything which you do is actually connected to a purpose. People understand purpose, they don't understand profit. That's how human beings are. And that's how the tuning is. So, what is the purpose? A purpose is something which is something beyond you or something beyond profits. It's about communities. It's about society. It's about people. It's about employees. Don't mistake me that when I say purpose is about corporate social responsibility, because that's a different way of looking at community service. But purpose in the business can be beyond the CSR part of how you are really building your enterprise with a broader purpose in mind, which I spoke about around communities, society, people, employees. For example, if you open a plant, if you are a manufacturer, into a geography, into a specific village or a town, what will your business contribute to that village or town, and how can it really make the people of that city prosper? I'm just giving an example of a manufacturing plant. It could be multiple examples you can actually do by creating a broader purpose of what you want as an owner to actually achieve. The Silicon Valley example I gave is largely to make sure that you get connected, because what those two owners started back 81 years, they would have a much broader purpose in mind rather than just earning profits. And that is already been written by many. If you read the book called HP Way, you will find that how purpose was the big thing in the formation of HP, what the two owners did. So, how do you really transform lives of people, right? Some of you must be already doing by transforming lives or livelihood of many through your manufacturing plant or services business or whatever business you are in. Some of you are also giving better future for the next generation of the people who are working for you. They are able to create better generations because of your work for your business. And some of you are impacting communities in such way that they are today striving. So once you are able to create a broader purpose into your own mindset, your actions will automatically change to a much broader purpose. And because what I'm saying, it's like that having a bold ambition, having a great vision, they are not new things. But why, as I said, one survive, one thrive, and one survive is because when you don't link broader thinking into your mind, your actions will be always tactical. It will never be broader. And that's why it's very important to get the purpose right. And this is this purpose which will actually glue people together. Your employees, your customers, your communities who serve you, the society on which you operate, everybody will come together. And in order to execute the purpose and ambition which we spoke about, there are two broad areas of leadership which where we are very, very important. The personal leadership, and purpose is an element of it. But I wanted to touch upon purpose first before I introduce personal leadership. It has two other elements in personal leadership. It's about people and culture, and very, very important elements which we need to really look at. And then the other aspect is about which business you are in, or what the brand leadership you carry. It's about your product, services, portfolio. It's about the processes which you are adopting as the company. And it's about the innovation you are driving in your respective businesses. And that's more about how you really drive brand leadership. So let me touch upon both the concepts quickly to introduce some concepts which are very dear and near to my life, and are something which has been really helpful to me also personally. On personal leadership, apart from purpose, people and culture are the two big elements which we need to be really very, very focused on. We have to be sensitive and accountable to the fact that every person who works for you puts his life at your work. As an owner, you may say, the job, they are doing a job, so what? I'm giving them money. But end of the day, please understand, they are investing at times 10%, 20%, 30%, or 50% of their actual life. At times, more time given to you than their families. So it's extremely important that you understand how important it is, people who work for you day in, day out. So we need a culture of people which is inclusive. Sometimes entrepreneurial spirit leads to a situation that it is my way or highway. And it doesn't allow us to build inclusive culture. Variety of people, and that's the beauty of corporate world. The diverse set of people brings in immense amount of thought leadership, which each one of us individually can never do. So it's very important to build diverse team and drive inclusion in order to really get the best out of people and drive innovation, which at a very different level. And need to put a significant emphasis on talent management and leadership development. One of the biggest pitfalls which I've seen across many of companies whom I've worked with as owner managed businesses, that there is no proper talent management or leadership pipeline development process. And it's a very important factor to really look at. We need to hire different and diverse people in order to build collective minds, as I already spoke about. We don't want to create replica of our own. Other mistake which people make is they hire people who are very similar to their thought process, and that doesn't build any diversity kind of thought leadership. And then on the leadership and talent development, as owners, you should ask question to yourself: how much time I am spending myself in actually building talent and people leadership? Because at the time you actually invest in that area, you will get huge returns on investment. The way any business owner understands, everything is ROI. The ROI here is a softer ROI, but it will give you tremendous levels of multipliers, which you can't even imagine. So businesses should really take care of employees first. I worked in a company earlier in my career where they actually believed in making employees a shareholder of the company. Right? It's not about just sales incentives. It's also about making employees shareholders. And now the idea is replicated in most of the multinational corporates or in Indian corporates where employees get stocks, right? But that idea was done by someone 25 years back, I remember, when I joined early in my first company. And we should now, in whichever way, there is no like, this is the only way to do. But we should figure out how can we make our employees part of our business, shareholding, profit, etc., so that it is beyond salary. Salary is just a base thing for what somebody actually earns. The real motivation comes beyond salary. And that's how we need to really see, how am I really creating policies for people to help them? And don't ever think that if I'm giving profit, it's a gift to them. It is not a gift. They have earned through their hard work and their contribution to the company. So with such people practices, you will find dignity, character, and human spirit like never seen before. And the productivity levels can be very, very different. From a culture pillar, who builds the culture? Culture is built by you. Culture is nothing but the DNA of the company. What you saw, you will reap. As I said earlier, if you compare two companies and if you actually go to their premises, similar companies, similar time frame, similar resources, you will find very different environment in both companies. What is this environment? This environment is nothing but a culture. Who drives this? The owner drives the culture of what the organization is all about. And it's a very, very important aspect of really, it's a fabric which you create, uniqueness for your organization, which you need to be very, very mindful of. For example, what kind of policies you have and actions you have around ethics, compliance, or business conduct. A zero tolerance on ethics, compliance, and business conduct will drive more trust and accountability of every action somebody does in the company. Reward and recognition programs through a pure performance-based evaluation rather than favoritisms. And how do you really drive that level of culture? Celebrate small wins and occasions. Make the place to be fun and engaging. And sometimes some places are doing very well, but they can be very boring. How do you make your place more fun? Small victories can also be great for people to enjoy and get together. Create environment of open door. Don't keep cabins. The reason why open door policies are run by companies is that cabin culture is gone. People have to really come up to you openly and share what they think, and you should be open. And there is a concept of servant leadership, if you would have read. Leaders are all servants now. They have to just listen to people and then serve. And I think as long as you create an environment of open feedback, you will really get the real employee voice and the feedback at the right time to take the right decisions. As Ramas was saying earlier, business decisions are never easy. They're always gray. But you can make better decisions by keeping the door open and keep the feedback coming and insights coming, which will make you a better decision maker. And create an environment where a young or an old man or a woman, a local person from your city or a person from any other state within the country or any other country, if you are a global company, feel equal. And that is all about cultural elements of how you build a company. And that can really significantly change the landscape of how the future of the company is defined. Like I give you an example. If somebody asks me a question around personal leadership, I have a simple model to remember, and I try to emulate that in my everyday work, which is IDEA, IDEA. And I there stands for inspirational. And why I say a leader has to be inspirational, because without inspiration, there is nothing. And inspiration can be done only if you have purpose. The purpose point, which I spoke about. Purpose is the only way to inspire. Whatever pep talks you give, it will excite people for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, but everybody will forget. But if there is a purpose, the inspiration is constant. D stands for decisiveness. Idea, ID, which is leaders have to make tough decisions. And that's why I was talking about that. How do you make better decisions with gray information? And that's where the openness culture comes very, very handy. And you take tough decisions, even some of your family members may be unhappy, so be it. E stands for empathy. Leaders have to be empathetic. In today's time, gone is the attitude of bossism. It's about empathy. And you as a CEO, MD, needs to always believe that I report to everyone, not everybody reports to me. While you have the command and control, the behavior has to be very different. And idea A stands for attitude, an attitude which has to be agile and adaptable, because in today's world, things are moving rapidly. What you're facing today versus what you will face tomorrow is changing at a very rapid pace. It's very important that you have a culture of agility and adaptability. And that is actually a core of any entrepreneur. So I think it will come very naturally to you, but it's very important that you take care of that. So that's on the personal leadership. And on the brand leadership, you need to really focus on three things, which is one, about portfolio. Your current portfolio, product, solutions, and services. You need to think about, what is my current portfolio? The current portfolio is actually serving current market. And at the same time, you need to really start thinking about portfolio for the future, 2 to 3 years down the line or 5 years down the line. And how are you keeping your entire portfolio innovation game, whatever products or solutions or services you are in? It's very, very important to understand how we're really looking at the portfolio by dividing your business into current business and what you want to do in the future business, and run both this thought leadership in parallel so that you don't lose out. The second thing is around processes. In today's time, everything is going digital, as you know. So digital automation is very, very important. And how are you really embracing? And this is the field I am in, right? We sell a lot of tech equipments to our customers. And one of the biggest difference which I found in my job, which I did for Asia Pacific and now in India, is that companies we talk about China being so ahead, is that they just adopted digitization and tech adoption faster than any one of us in India. And that is making a huge difference. Apart from there are a lot of other things, but this is one of the biggest difference, which I feel our people have taken a lot of time. What kind of ERP, what kind of automation, what kind of change management you are driving in your processes to make it digitally ready, to get customer obsession at the center of everything what you do. And that will drive innovation. And innovation, again, is a cultural element, which I spoke about earlier. So how do you really drive that? So, and then one last thing in the innovation part is keep yourself updated on mega trends, industry trends, and the culture of innovation will continue to drive. So with personal leadership and brand leadership, just don't lose your entrepreneur spirit, because I believe that sometimes organizations like us who become very big, we lose that entrepreneur spirit, which is very, very critical of what you actually do on a daily basis. So risk taking and managing gray, what you do very well, continue to do that. So in summary, let me quote an extract from a very recent TED talk which I heard, and I'll share that slide with you so that it can be useful to you at your time, at your leisure time. And that quote is: "If you are right with your community, if you are right with your people, if you are right with your products and solutions, you will be more profitable, you will be more innovative, you will have more passionate people working for you, you will have community which will support you, you will have your next generation who will be finding a broader purpose to take the legacy forward. And if you do this, there is no way that you will not thrive." I think it's a very interesting TED talk, which I think you should definitely refer to. I was very, very inspired by that. And at HP, just to summarize, our founders didn't revolutionize technology. They reinvented the culture of the business. They challenged corporations to serve a greater purpose and propelled a movement that gave meaning to work. And that is what HP is made of, and survived and thrived after 81 years of various good and bad times. So I'm truly proud to be one of the beneficiary of legacy created by Bill and Dave. And you can do the same actually by creating a legacy of your own. Go for it. And let's light up your dream, as Ramas introduced initially, that this is your time. And this is the time of entrepreneur spirit to really get to a very different level, because the world is really flat, as you have read the book. And you can reach any part of the global world today to really make it happen. And these are the two references which I wanted to leave your thoughts with. The 5 timeless principles of HP Way. Some of the concepts which I spoke about, you will find here, and the anti-CEO playbook, the TED talk, which I just referred to. So my best wishes to all of you, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts today. I hope something will be helpful to you, and you will take it back and implement few things which could be very helpful to you. So thank you so much.